The Bear Essentials podcast gives older bears a place to gather for real talk regarding topics and issues that they can relate to. Here at The Bear Essentials, we aren't just having conversations. We are looking to provide actionable intelligence through real-life experience and expertise of our guests. Our mission is to build a strong community that elevates and motivates people to go beyond their limiting beliefs by helping them realize that getting older is not an excuse to hibernate on their goals, but a reason to work harder.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I am your host, Charles Wallace. Here on the Bear Essentials podcast, I'm always looking to have guests on that will provide value back to you, the audience. That could vary. The topics always vary. It could be motivation, fitness, health, a lot of talks with veterans and their stories. Today, got a little more specific as I wanted to dive into the topic of our financial health. I think it's really important, especially as we begin to age and start to come closer to that retirement age. I'll be totally upfront with all of you. I don't think I've done a good enough job with it. So it's something that I was really interested in, selfishly for me, hearing today's guest talk about. So today's guest, his name is Douglas Woods. He brings a lot of insight to the discussion regarding our finances, especially, ways that we need to plan for retirement. But what I like, and I want you to pay a lot of attention to is, and something I wasn't as aware of is, he talks a lot about minimizing the risk for when we retire as far as our money. So I think that's really important. And it's something that I hope you all take a listen. And if you haven't, it gets you to at least start thinking about it more and maybe to reach out to either Doug or another financial professional. So without further ado, let's jump right in here to my interview with Douglas Woods. Hey, Doug, how's it going? Thanks for joining today. I really appreciate it. And I think the timing couldn't be better, right? Who's not concerned about their finances at this point? So thank you. Would you be able to give the audience a little introduction of who you are and what you do?
Most definitely. Thank you. First of all, thank you, Charles. This is an honor. I really appreciate you having me on your show. And I look forward to this meeting, my man. And so basically my name is Douglas Woods. I'm an advisor and strategist, basically in Louisiana, but I'm also licensed in 10 other states as well. I help business owners and professionals structure safe and tax advantage retirement strategies, business protection that covers key persons, buy sales, estate planning, those sorts of things. And my whole goal is to try to help folks get outside that tradition and try to, actually analyze the other opportunities they have out there for safe and tax advantage retirement. That way they won't outlive their money. That way they won't pay all the taxes back to Uncle Sam. Because during the growth years, they compounding that big lump sum of money for those harvesting years, so they can live comfortable and be able to do the things they want to do, buy those cheesy Hawaiian shirts and those flip-flops and go on vacation. But in reality, you're socking away a lot of that money to Uncle Sam in retirement. So that's my whole goal. My goal is to try to educate folks on the other strategies they have out there to help them along that path, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does, Doug. And I think one of the things that, I've been talking to a little bit now, and one of the big reasons why I wanted to have you on is I think nowadays, and I'd be curious for your opinion, but I think it's getting harder and harder for us to really even think as much about our future and retirement, because I feel like we're all so busy trying to survive the present. So I think like this topic is a little bit out of sight, out of mind for a lot of people. Right. What do you tell people though now, right? Because Doug, honestly, I think everybody's somewhat struggling. A lot of people are. Is there, how's the best way to start to think about it and even to get started? Because I think, especially for my audience, being probably older men, 40s, 50s, 60s, some guys out there might be thinking, too late for me. I'm just going to have to keep on keep on keeping on, right? Keep on working. So any ideas?
All right. So first of all, you never should have that mindset. It's never too late. You know, you look at a lot of these big billionaires, they 90 years old, who's still out there working, still out there humping. So never should have that mindset if it's too late. But the thing is, once you get up in age, time is not on your side too much anymore. So you have to get aggressive and you have to really strategize and come up with some strategic ways on how to actually plan for your time. Going about it the traditional way is probably not the best idea. I'm not against it, you know, whatever is best for you. But you definitely have to sit down and think about your major concerns. Think about your goals for retirement and actually sit back and get with a licensed professional and find out, locate all your resources, put them all into one bucket, figure out the best strategies for that, you know, and attack. Don't wait. Right on, just get straight to it, you know, and figure out what's comfortable for you and your family and your situation to live that retirement that you want to, you know. Retirement is supposed to be a good thing, you know. You're supposed to be able to get into retirement and relax, enjoy, help the grandkids, you know, through college. You shouldn't be in retirement worrying, stressing, and thinking about, you know, oh, I'm gonna outlive this money, you know. Oh man, praying and hoping that, you know, some kind of way you don't outlive this money. You know, that's not a good feeling to have. So I sit with a lot of my clients. I try to educate them first and try to get their mindset where it should be.
Hi, everyone. Here at the Bear Essentials podcast, we talk a lot about never hibernating on your goals. Well, that takes a certain mindset. It takes a primal mindset. So please be sure to check out our sponsor, Go Primal. And while shopping their website, goprimalusa.com, be sure to use code BEAR10 and get 10% off your purchase. Trust your instincts. Go Primal. So, Doug, if somebody comes to you, right? I mean, do you find that when people do come to you, I get what you're saying. You say you can't have that mindset. Do a lot of people come to you with that mindset as far as too late?
Yeah, it's not necessarily too late, and I try to instantly get them out that vibe. But it's more of an urgency, it's more of a panic, you know, and just calm down. You know, you're still young, actually. You know, you just waited a little bit longer, and this could be fixed. You know, with the right strategies and educating you properly and pointing in the right direction, it can definitely be fixed, and you can definitely enjoy your retirement. You know, so yes, your mind is a dangerous place if you allow it. You know, and basically.
So, Doug, when you want to, you know, people come to you, you start to sit down with a plan of, I like you said, a plan of attack. Do you have, and I know it will vary for people depending on their lifestyle, how they want to live. But for on average, right, is there an amount that you start to tell people like you should at least be, you know, for the average person, husband, wife, you know, a couple, should there be an average amount at least, you know, if you're going to retire at say age 65, should there be at least an average amount that you should be shooting for as far as how much you should, you know, what's your goal? You should at least have that much.
Okay, so you mean monthly or just overall?
Let's go monthly because, you know, honestly, me personally, I like the shorter term, right? I can think of it better that way and it makes more sense to me. So yeah, so I come to 65, I'm sitting back, you know, I want to retire now. You know, roughly what is the something, you know, that you could say, okay, you got to think of these things, right? Think how many years, you know, what's the average kind of advice you give to say, look, I guess a better way to say it is, how do you put it in the perspective for people as far as like what that should look like when they retire?
Okay, so basically we'll sit down, we'll figure out, like I said, it always go back to your goals. What's your goals for retirement? You know, how much do you feel is comfortable for you in retirement? You know, to be able to take care of everything you need to take care of and cover vacations, whatever it is you feel fit that you need to do, whatever is inside those goals. Give me a comfortable amount for you, and then we go to the resources and find out what resources they have. What's the best route to take to get them in that situation. Everybody's situation is different. Everyone can't afford to just sock $300,000-$400,000 into their retirement plan at one time. So I always like to just take every case one by one, meet them where they at, and we take it from there. But to answer your question, a comfortable amount for retirement, honestly, it's good to have at least $1 million nest egg. It's good to have $1 million nest egg. Now, can everybody have that? No. So that's why I like to meet folks where they at, and we take it from there and structure this around their goals and around what they can actually have to be comfortable with in retirement.
So, and I've heard that number thrown out there before, $1 million nest egg.
Yeah. If you're gonna be honest, that's the goal.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you said it, because I think it is that number. I ain't gonna lie, it scares me a little bit, right? I think it probably scares a lot of people,
Right.
but sometimes being scared, that fear isn't a good thing either, right? It can be a good thing. I'm sorry. It's a good motivator to try to start getting things in gear and to start thinking about it more. So Doug, do you work with people as far as, I'm assuming the way you work with people, it's a lot about the strategy now that's the most not only advantageous for them to end up with that nest egg, but to ensure they're getting, I'll call it, all the breaks and things that they're entitled to now, so that they can start to put that money away, right? Do you go through all the different types of, I guess, tax advantages, disadvantages, things like that?
Yes, most definitely. We go through what's best for them as far as tax burden, because tax inflation and market risk is the key focus in retirement, as far as what can keep you from outliving your money, if that makes sense, if I'm saying it right. Basically, you want to structure it to make sure that they get all the tax advantages possible, that they actually keeping up with inflation. These days, it's hard to do, and actually not really outperforming the market, but at least keeping up with the market. Think about it, in retirement, you're not trying to beat the market. You're mostly trying to conserve your money. You're trying to make it last as long as possible, which means you eliminate as much risk as possible. If you're out there averaging 10, 15, 20% in the market, just imagine how much you actually have at risk. And with the strategies that I apply, I'm basically completely eliminating the risk. I'm taking you out of the market. You're not in the market. If the market crashes tomorrow, you don't have to worry about losing a dime. Make sense? And at the same time, you have the tax advantage. So once you implement those into your retirement, it's almost impossible, especially if you have a decent nest egg saved. Based on your situation, it's almost impossible to outlive your money in retirement.
So, Doug, when I hear that, right, I like the sounds of that, right? Because obviously, I think, especially as we're getting older, that risk, we can't really afford that risk anymore either, right? Because we don't have as much time to make up for it if it doesn't go our way. When you say that, though, right, just to help people understand a little more, what's different between what you're saying and how you're helping people compared to what I'll say is maybe a more traditional approach?
Okay, so I'm eliminating the risk. That's key. I'm either minimizing or eliminating that future tax burden that you're going to have in retirement. Can't get around that. A lot of folks try to push off and tax defer as long as they can. It doesn't matter. You got to get around to those taxes. if you stay within your traditional route. And making sure that you have a reasonable rate of return along with it. When you're in the traditional, and not bashing it, but when you're in the traditional path of retirement, typically your funds, your retirement is going to be at risk. They might be they're in the market, which means they're subject to risk. You may have it very conservative where maybe 20% is at risk, 80% safe, wherever the math is. But you gotta realize if something happens in the market at 20%, you're gonna lose some of it. And you can't afford to lose a penny in retirement. This is your life savings. This is what you plan on living off of for the rest of your life. This is what you plan on sending your grandkids through college, whatever the case may be. So I try to eliminate, my goal is to eliminate the risk or at least minimize it. Same thing with the tax burden, and try to keep you in route with the market, with inflation. If that makes sense. With these strategies, it's so hard to believe. So you have to sit down and really educate folks on it and kind of, actually get them to understand it. Once they understand it, then it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. So as far as your accumulation stage early on in life, it's good to, if your employer is going to match you, it's good to take advantage of those situations, but the accumulation stage is 100% different from those harvesting years. You have to come up with a whole different strategy and a whole different mindset in retirement.
Hey, Charles, I just wanted to welcome you and all the Bear Essential listeners and watchers to NGBN.TV. My name is Chris Rubio, and I'm the host of The Rubio Method. We are a show about men's mental health that comes out every other Wednesday. Our latest episode just came out today, June 22nd. Then we'll have one in another 2 weeks. We already have 9 episodes out with myself and my co-host, Nick Monahan. We navigate the zone of men turning into middle age and going through health crises, whether it's mental, physical, and we have a good time while doing it. We tell a lot of funny stories. We have great interviews and guests, and it's just an all-around good time for about a half an hour to 45 minutes. So make sure you check out the Rubio Method as well on NGBN.TV, YouTube, Spotify, Google, and Amazon podcasts. And once again, from the Rubio Method to the Bear Essentials, welcome to NGBN.TV.
So Doug, it does sound like it has a lot to do with mindset and really, not just mindset, committing to that mindset. So when somebody comes to you, the way you're helping people, it sounds a lot like it's going to be dependent on situation.
Yes.
But you mentioned it a few times about educating people. So my hunch is that for you, a lot of this has to do with sitting down with people, speaking to them, and going over, what they're maybe typically think of as far as what, the more traditional approach compared to your approach. Are there a lot of people, financial advisors, there are a lot of people out there now utilizing a similar approach that you do, or would you say it's, still towards that more traditional approach?
Yeah, there's a lot of folks they understand this concept now. They understand this strategy, but it's a lot of moving parts in it. So they still want to have that information. They want to be educated. They want to know exactly if this is going to really work, because it's hard to believe that there's things like that out there. But yeah, I run across a lot of folks that still rather take that traditional route. And once you talk to them, educate them, have a few sit downs with them and go over in details and show them illustrations and the process. There's a lot of folks where I didn't actually got them to switch over to the other side, and it actually it's going to benefit them in the long run. Saving eliminating that tax burden, depending on which route you take, and being able to enjoy retirement. So.
Yeah, no, Doug, this is, I think what you're doing is really providing a much needed and valuable service for people. So I'm going to be blunt. Do you ever get this, Doug? Because what you're saying, do you ever get anybody that just comes out and says, "Hey, well, like, our sounds too good to be true"? How?
Yes, all the time.
How do you answer that?
And I just that's when it's time to pull out the all the artillery. You know, it's time to sit down and actually go over in detail how this work, compare it, actually perform an illustration for them, so they can see how it's going to work compared to what your current situation is performing at right now. Actually just get them to understand. It all comes back to getting them to understand how it works. And you know, there's no such thing as too much information, too much education. There's no such thing. You know, you have to keep on until they get it. A lot of folks that, you know, give them that 1 or 2 shot, and that's it. No, I will sit down with you and explain over and over until you finally get it. I like to talk, so.
Yeah, no, but Doug, I honestly, I think it's really important, right? You know, because until I, you know, I came across you on LinkedIn, and I, you know, following you on LinkedIn, speaking to you a little bit. I mean, to me, I, you know, I was kind of like, what does he mean by this? You know, and that's why I thought it would be a great idea to get you on the show, because my goal is, look, I'm hoping to just raise some awareness for people that, hey, let's start thinking about it, because, you know, I said it earlier, I think it gets a little difficult to think about our future when we're all so focused right now on the current, and just getting through, a lot of people just getting through day to day. And it's a lot of people, I think the attitude is, you know what, I'll worry about that when the time comes. I have to worry about getting through today. Um, is there anything that you do for people that you're able to help them have their money start working for not only their retirement? That is there any strategies that you help them with to maybe help them with their more, you know, immediate and current situations?
Yeah. So basically, a lot of outside of educating them, a lot of strategies that I use could actually be applied for your current situation. Your current situation is actually structuring your future situation. You know, so basically the platforms that I use, the products that I use, you can actually fund them now. Fund them. You can actually take advantage of them now. Down the line, once they accumulate, a couple of years down the line, yeah. And you can actually borrow from these structures, actually apply them to your daily life, as far as investments, as far as your kids' education. I actually have 4 of them set up myself, and they all structured for retirement. They structured for my kids' education, or if they decide to go to school now, they can use it for business, or for whatever it is they need to use it for. And it's also structured for my business. So this is the strategies that I use. I actually use for myself as well. Mm-hmm. You know, so I actually understand them. I actually believe in them. You know, and yes, they could be used now. You know, if you have a business, or if you have need to structure an emergency fund, or whatever the case may be, these things can be accessed now tax free, and you're eliminating the risk from the start. You know, my whole thing is, once I understood how this stuff works, there's no need to have your funds in a situation where you could possibly lose it. I have an aunt. She experienced the 2008 recession in retirement. Mm. You know, I spoke with her in 2006. I'm in New Orleans, so it was right after Katrina, and she was so happy. She was like, I'm so excited that I'm gonna be able to retire in the next 2 or 3 years. I have my money set up right and everything else. And we spoke again. I was out of town, came back, and we spoke again maybe in 2000, maybe in the middle of the recession. And she was so down. I forgot all about her situation. I was like, "Oh, you should be retired, you know." And she said, "Nah." she said, I have to keep working. I lost a big chunk of money during this recession, you know. So that stuff is real. You know, if another recession comes through right now, I ask a lot of folks, you know, do you think you have enough money saved to be able to still retire tomorrow? You know, how would that impact you? You know, would you have to work another 4 or 5 years before you can retire? That's painful for somebody that's planning on retiring tomorrow, you know, or next year, and something like that come through and completely just wipe half of your retirement away. That's painful, you know. And a lot of folks need to take that into consideration, because having your money at risk, that's what you may be subject to, you know. So the best thing to do is eliminate that risk and either eliminate or minimize that tax burden. And that's definitely something I can help a lot of folks with.
So, Doug, you said, I'll ask this too. I mean, you kind of being, you know, in financial industry, I mean, it is scary, but I mean, would you, in your opinion, I mean, does it look like potentially we could be going towards another recession?
All this trillions of dollars shoved in the economy and inflation, and yeah, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. One thing I ask a lot of folks: taxes. You know, you think taxes gonna be going up, or you think they're gonna be coming down, or you think they're gonna stay the same? You know, because what we've been taught the traditional way is that, you know, go ahead on, defer your money. Taxes gonna be low in retirement, and you'll be okay. And from the obvious, that's not the route we're going. That's not the plan they have set up. You know, so between recession and taxes going up, I highly believe that's possible.
So, hearing that, what would your message be to people right now today? You know, what do you start to do now? What are things they should start to think about to, you know, just their present, right? What would you recommend people do to kind of maybe help minimize the risk that they'll be under if a recession does hit?
Okay, so right now they can start by looking at other resources, other strategies that can either minimize or eliminate that risk. Get educated on it. You know, reach out to your advisor, whoever it is helping you in those situations. Reach out to them, you know, and find out more about these strategies. Try to eliminate that. Put your money in a situation where you could eliminate at least that portion. You don't have to worry about losing money in another recession. Figure out that tax burden. You know, figure out that situation. There's a lot of vehicles out there that can put you in a situation where you either eliminate or minimize that future tax burden. And open your mind. You know, be willing to learn, be willing to understand these situations. Don't just go into with a closed mind. And if you can figure out these strategies, you can eliminate that future risk in retirement of outliving your money.
Yeah, and I think that definitely it's, you know, I won't lie, I'll be blunt, it sucks, right? I think right now all of our situations, it's not ideal for people. And I think, you know, and I know I'm guilty of it. You know, I'm fortunate that obviously, you know, fortunate to have a job, working, traditional
Right.
things like a 401k. But I think the other thing that happens is people out of sight, out of mind in some ways is a good thing for, I'll say, your 401k, your money. But Doug, what are the risks right now, right? When you keep talking about the taxes and the market, all this stuff, right? Like somebody like me, I'll admit it, I don't really pay as much attention to what my money's doing in my 401k, things like that. But it sounds like that could end up really being a bad thing where it just all of a sudden your money's gone.
Yeah, your money's gone, right. So right now, definitely look towards different vehicles, different avenues to take to be, like I said, eliminate that risk and eliminate those tax burdens. find out exactly if you can. Find out how you have your funds allocated in your 401k. Find out how much is at risk, because right now you should be minimizing that risk overall, whether you in a traditional, whether you're in the 401k or not. Should be either eliminate or minimizing that risk. So find out how you have it allocated and actually take actions on it now. Take action on it now and start the process of, if possible, putting that money into a most safe and tax advantage retirement or avenue.
Yeah, Doug, I know. Well, again, I appreciate you jumping on here, because I think this is something that, especially, as we get older, it's, that retirement's only getting closer, hopefully, for a lot of people. And, don't want that retirement to be an additional burden on top of everything else that people are going through. So, Doug, I wanted to give you a chance here. Somebody wants to reach out to you to take advantage of, having you help them, your company, whatnot. How can they get in touch with you?
Oh, well, you could call me. You could call me directly. I answer the phone as well. You can call me directly at 504-209-5493. And you can also call my business, which is 504, my office number, which is 504-205-9630. You can also reach out to me on LinkedIn. I respond, and you can also email me. My email is douglas.woods@honorablefinancial.com. And my website is www.honorablefinancial.com.
And I'll be sure to put that information in the show notes to make it easy for people. Last thing I like to do here, Doug, is this, not to put you on the spot, but you got that person comes in, right now today, Doug, with everything going on, you have, 30 seconds to a minute. What do you say to that person to kind of start to get their mindset switched around?
Okay, so the first thing would be your goals. It always go back to your goals, your concerns, your resources. Think about your family. Think about what you plan on doing, what you plan on accomplishing in retirement. Is this something that you need? Is this something that's really deep down in your heart is a concern? If so, then let's take the proper steps right now. Let's figure out what we can do to put you in the best situation that's going to benefit you and your family in retirement. The goal is not to outlive your money. The goal is to enjoy your retirement, and the goal is to be happy.
Perfect, Doug. I think that's a great way to end it. I hope people reach out to you. If not you, I hope they reach out to other professionals. It's important. I mean, we're living in, a day and age that there's a lot going on. The climate's pretty volatile when it comes to our finances, and please don't sleep on it. As Doug said, our retirement should be something that we're looking forward to, that we are able to enjoy. So reach out to Doug or any other or financial advisor, tax professional, whatever. Just start to think about it. So, right. Doug, I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much. And thanks everybody for listening. Take care and start thinking more about your money.
Most
Take care.
Definitely. Oh, yeah. Bye. Take care. Thank you so much.
This has been the Bear Essentials. Thanks for listening. And remember, never hibernate on your goals.